Hi guys, it's Sophie and welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to film a review for one of my all-time favourite books that I've read this year, and that is Akarnae by Lynette Noni. This book is a YA fantasy, and just to give you a very brief overview, it has a girl called Alex who I believe is 16 years old, and her parents, because of their job commitments, they sent her off to a boarding school. When she gets to the boarding school, it looks terrible. She's not really, she gets bullied in the 5 minutes that it takes for her to walk from the taxi to the office building. And when she gets into the headmaster's office, she opens the door and just ends up in this forest. So it turns out that she's actually been transported to another world, so kind of like a parallel world. So you've got Earth, also known as Freya, and Medora, which is where she ends up. In Medora, there is this awesome boarding school where, you go if you're gifted. So, some can turn invisible, some have charisma or charm. It follows Alex through her journey at this boarding school called Akarnae, hence the title. And, she makes new friends and follows her adventures through her, her time at this boarding school. She just has no idea how she got there and she just wants to go home. And it's really interesting how this story actually develops. Just so you know, Lynette Noni is the author. She's an Australian author, and this is actually her debut novel. It came out in 2015. Every single person that has picked up this book that I know of has absolutely loved it. So yeah, if you want to check it out, definitely go visit the Pantera Press website. The moment that I picked up this book, I just got sucked in and just flew through it and loved it. And then I raced through the second book, which I was lucky enough to get an e-arc of before it came out. And yeah, I reread this again last night, and it's 450-ish pages, and I flew through it in one sitting. So yeah, it's honestly just an awesome read, and I would really recommend that you pick it up. Anyways, I should probably give you some reasons why I would recommend you pick it up. I did rate this one 5 out of 5 stars because I absolutely adored it. I got sucked into the story from page 1. I love the characters, and the storyline itself isn't predictable. You kind of just, I don't know, I didn't see the ending coming, and I love the fact that you think, oh well, you've got these characters and I know that that's gonna happen, but it actually doesn't. It kind of twists all these sort of tropes on its head. Yeah, I'm not going to go too much into detail because I want you guys to read it and figure it out for yourselves, but I'll just give you a brief overview of what I liked and what I didn't kind of like, because even though I gave it 5 stars, I did have one teeny tiny problem with it, but I will address that in a moment. So what did I like and why did I like it? I love the fact that it explores platonic friendships and explores the fact that you can be friends with guys if you're a girl, and you can be friends with girls if you're a guy, and I think it just explored platonic friendship so well and just perfectly, and you feel like you're part of their little group. You've got Alex and Jordan and Bear, and they're all this tight-knit little group, and it's so adorable, and I just love it. You feel like you know them so well and you just want to be real life friends with them, and yeah, the friendship in it is just fantastic. I also like the fact that, other fantasy books are just magic, whereas this is kind of a magic cross science combined. So, the kids at this boarding school have gifts, but they kind of don't explain them oh yeah, it's just magic, The character's oh, it's in our DNA, it's biology, and all of their technology in their world is really advanced, but it's not all put down to magic, even though it looks like it. There is at least some explanation as to what that technology is. And I think it's great. It's really awesome, and it's a fresh take on the whole high fantasy setting. I also love the fact that whilst the story itself isn't realistic, it's a fantasy, it's not going to be a realistic story, but in saying that, Alex's character development goes from point A to point B, and it doesn't just go and immediately happen. Alex develops in a natural way, I will give one example. She has combat classes, and she's told that she should be fantastic, she has really high potential for these high level combat classes, and she gets in there and she just gets knocked flat on the floor. And I think that's wonderful because I went to a Lynette Noni event a week a week ago, I think, a week or 2 weeks back, and you know, Lynette was saying it would be stupid if this untrained civilian just went into a combat class and just totally kicked ass. Like, you can see Alex develop throughout the course of the story, and also, like, unrelated, but I have read the second book, and that realistic character development follows all the way through, and I think that's really good. That's something that we don't really see a lot of in fantasy, and we don't see a lot of in YA. The character development in this story from all the characters is actually just fantastic. And I must just say, I am a sucker for like snarky characters. That's why I love Rick Riordan's writing. But yes, Alex and Jordan are just so snarky and cheeky, and Alex is just like everything that I am. I say things without thinking about the consequences, or I'll mutter things under my breath, and I don't realise people hear, and it gets me in a lot of crap. So I feel like Alex is very, very similar in that way, and I loved seeing a character that, you know, didn't have to plot out every single move, or, you know, didn't speak super formally like they were in, you know, like 16th century England. I love the fact that she just talked like a normal 16-year-old or teenage girl, and I love that. There was no like super intelligent talk, it was just normal teenage talk, and it was realistic and wonderful and a delight to read. Moving on to a slightly, like, okay, it's a teeny, like, you can't even see it, issue with this book. Like, I understand why Alex's parents are dealt with in like the first 10 pages of the book. Like, we don't really get to meet her parents. They kind of just get conveniently swept away to the side, and I don't know, I would love to see a little bit more of Alex and her parents, like understand why Lynette's done it like that, but yeah, I would love to see a little bit more of Alex's family life and her dealing with her parents rather than just like a phone call and then they're disappeared for the rest of you. Like, it didn't affect my rating. I still gave it 5 stars. I thought that it was a really imaginative, creative story. Like, yeah, I can see it's taken elements from other books, but at the same time, once you're reading it, you just forget that there's like, oh, there's a slight Harry Potter feel, there's a slight Narnia feel. It's just this book that you're focused in on, and it's amazing. And yeah, if you haven't already picked it up, definitely give it a go. If you are from overseas, it is a little bit harder to pick it up, but you can order it through the publisher, Pantera Press. Like, I'm not sponsored or anything, but I have had people say that they want to read this one, but they have had issues getting it. So definitely check out Pantera Press. I know that Book Depository sadly doesn't have it, but Australian bookstores do, and definitely check out the publisher's website, which I'll link down below, because I think they're probably the best place to find or order this book. Definitely let me know down below if you've read this one, or if you want to read this one, or anything like that related to this book. Definitely let me know down below. I would love to hear your thoughts. But yeah, I would definitely recommend it to you if you like fantasy, or, you know, even if you just like realistic female characters that are kick-ass but still realistic. Like, Alex is a really strong character, and that's great, but also she's really realistic, so I love that. Yeah, definitely recommend this one. So, Akarnae by Lynette Noni. I will see you guys next time in my next video. Bye guys!